Hello everyone, we are on day 29 and today we're going to conclude the topics from the collection frameworks. One thing which we have not yet discussed and very important is a data structure which helps you store data in the key value format. And for that, we have the map data structure. So we're going to talk about what is HashMap, what is a linked HashMap, what is the TreeMap, all of those things we're going to cover in this video. Let's get started. Now let's move ahead and talk about a new type of the data structures, which is again very important, right? So a kind of a data structure which stores data in the key value format. For example, I want to go and store the data like, I want to store the name and the salaries of all the employees. For example, Vishwa has a salary of 90 rupees. Mohan has a salary of 70 rupees, blah, blah. So whenever I have to go and store the data in the form of a key and value, I go and make use of a data structure called as a map in the world of Java. The map is known in the different terms in the different programming languages. For example, if you're coming from the world of Python, you might call map as dictionary. But it's one and the same thing. It stores data in the form of a key value. Now, map again comes from the java.util package. Map is an interface, which means that anytime you have to go and store the data in the form of key value, you go and make use of it. Map, it has a different implementation. For example, you have a HashMap, right? You have LinkedHashMap. You have a TreeMap. And each of them has own users. For example, HashMap has the highest performance. Highest performance. What it means that in a constant time, you can go and insert data into it and also look up data into it. On the other hand, if I go and talk about the linked HashMap, it will maintain the order, order. In the hash map, you insert the data, when you try to iterate over it, you will miss the entire order. But if it is a linked hash map, you will maintain the order based on the key. Similarly, TreeMap helps you get in the sorting of the data, sorted data, and this sorting is this based on the key itself. So this is how the entire map data structure works. Now let's try to get into the action. Let's try to see the code that how this map could be implemented. Let's see that. So what I do here is I go and open my Eclipse and we're going to find another class called as learning maps. Let me go and call it as learning maps. Fair enough. You go and close all the previous classes so that it looks a little shade. Well, let me go and call it learning maps. I should have a public static void main method, so I'm going to find the public static void main string args. Fair enough. So first time we'll go and see that hash map. So first of all, I will say the map interface. Map is an interface, which is a parent interface for all these implementations of the map. I go and say that this is a key value, so I have to go and provide two data types. So let me go and say that the string is the key and the value is, let's say, for example, integer, right? And I go and call it as employee map, and I know new hash set. Fair enough. So what I'm going to do, I'll have to go and import the map. So I'm going to go and import hash, which should not be hash set, hash map. It should be the hash map. Yeah. So I have to go and import the map. Import hash map, done. Then I go and import map. I'm done. So this is how, sir, we go and define a map or a hash map in the world of Java. Right? This is a map. It's a key value. So this is the first type of the key. So this will be the data type for the key, and this is the data type for value. Correct. So since I have a data type of a string, when I go and add the value, I go and do add the value. I go and make use of a method called as a put. So I go and say that employee map dot put, and I go and set the value. Since the key has to be the string, I go and say that, for example, the Vishwa is the key. And the value is that value something called as 90. Then I go and set that employee map dot put, and I go and set that Mohan, and the value is 110. Then I have something called as employee dot put, and I want to say that Shivani, the value is 77. So this is how you go and store the data inside a map, right? And then I can just simply go and print it, sys out, and the value will be the employee map. If I go and run this, run as our applications, you will see that even though we entered first of all Vishwa, then we entered Mohan, and then we entered Shivani. When I'm printing, I'm first getting Shivani, then Mohan, and then Vishwa. So the order is not maintained. Fair enough? But in the case of the hash map, if I go and make use of the linked hash map, let's try to see that quickly. Instead of a hash map, if I go and use of linked hash map, let me comment this out and take this. And new to linked hash map. And if I go and run this, we'll see that the first Vishwa was added, so the Vishwa order is maintained, then Mohan, and then Shivani. And similarly, instead of this, if I go and make use of TreeMap, right, and run this, you will see that first Mohan, then Shivani, and then Vishwa. So this is alphabetically, if I go and see that, it is alphabetically sorted. This is key is alphabetically sorted. Fair enough? Cool. So I'll go back to the previous one. Let me comment this out. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. So now I have this map and I know I have to print it. Now let's talk about the next term, which is how do we go and iterate over this map. The next thing that I need to do is I need to go and iterate over this map. I have to go and iterate over this map. So if I have to go and iterate over this map, how do I do it? So again, I'll go and make sure of for each. Now, if I go and talk about employee map and do dot, I'll get something called as a entry set. So normally what happens when I go and store this data, this key value is stored as a set as a Vishwa, 90. Then this is another Mohan, 110. This Shivani, 77. So whenever these are stored as a set. These are stored as a set, and these are called as and these has been given a special name called as the entry set. These are given a special name called as a entry set. So what I come and do here, I go and write here for employee map dot entry set, right? I go and call it as map dot entry, right? And I provide the entry should be the string integers, and this should be employee map. So what I'm going to do here is that this whole thing will give me the set of entries. And what is the type of this entry? This type of the entry is this map.entry, which has the key as a string and the value as the entry. So this way I can go and iterate through all of the entries of this map. And now I can go and say that. I can simply go and prompt sys out, and I can go and say that entry dot get key to get the key. And if I have to go and get the values, I can go and say that entry dot get value. If I go and run this, I get the Shivani cell 77, then I get Mohan 110, then I get Vishwa and So this is when I want to go and iterate over the entire map. Let's say that I want to go and iterate only over the keys. How I go and do it? So let's say that my next use case is that I want to go and iterate over the keys. So if you have to go and iterate over the keys, I go in the similar way. I go and say that for, and the key is string. So I go and say that key, and then I'm going to say that employee map dot key set. So key set will get me the set of the all keys. This key set will get me the set of all the keys. So here inside this case, what I'll do is I will go and print all this. I'll go up and I go and say that sys out. I go and pass key, and if I go and run this, this will go and print me all the keys with the Shivani, Mohan, and Vishwa. Similarly, if I have to iterate over the, if I have to go and iterate over the values, what I can also do is that I can, inside this itself, I can go and put employee map dot get key. So get is something which will help you get the values out of the map. So the get method will get you the value based on the key. So for the insertion, you use a method called as a put, and for reading data, you use a method called as a get. So if I go and run this, this is working perfectly fine. Fair enough. So this is how, sir, I go and make use of map. Now in this map, I have made use of a primitive data or the already defined data like string. What if I want to go and define my own user here? So I can go and define my own user here, but the only construct here is just like the set. I have to make sure that if I have to make use of any class object as a key in this map, it has to go and follow the construct of equals and hash code. So let's try to see with have an example. So in this case, if I go and define a class and we go and call it as employee, and this employee will have private string name and private int age. Let's assume that. Then I go and define the constructor. So I go and do the right click, I go and go to the source and click on the generate constructors using the fields. I go and click on the generate. Once I've done, then I also need to go and generate the getters and setters. So I click on the generate getters and the setters. I go and select this age and the name. These are the private, so I need to have the public generators. Then, in order to give the string form of the objects, let me go and override the I'll have to go to my source, and here I have to go and generate the toString method. Fair enough, I have done that. Once it is done, then I would like to have the equals and the hash code method has to be generated, right, so that I can use it inside the map. So I again go to the source and I'm going to click on the hash code and the equals method. You see here, this is how the hash code has been written, and then this is the equals method. Fair enough, I have done this. Now this map, I can actually go and make the changes, right? How can I make the changes? Let's go and define the another map here. So I go and say that map, and here I go and say that employee, and then I go and say that integer, and then I go and say that employee and equals to a new hash map. Fair enough. And then inside this employee map, I can actually go and put new employee, and I will provide the name as Vishwa, and the age of the Vishwa is 99, and the salary is, let's say for example, 90 rupees. Similarly to this, I can go and add few more entries into this, and the value is, let's say for example, Mohan, age is 98, and he is having 85 rupees, and then I have 96, and then we want to set the value as C power E, and C is there is 90 rupees. Now if you go and print this out and put employee map and run as Java application, it is working fine, right? I'm able to go and store the user defined data also into this map. So fair enough, with this we have understood the map data structure also. Now it's time, let's try to talk about the important interview questions that could come from this collection framework. Now this is one topic today which I'll feel that you do it now, you go through each of the recordings. Then once we have also completed our data structures and algorithm, I want you people to come back and watch this video again, because then that will get you a better context. Hello everyone, this is day 29 and we have just completed that. We have talked about the map, what is key value, how a class object could be defined as a key and a value in the map data structures. This has been very important, interviewers' favorite topic. Make sure that every concept that you have learned, you write the code and practice that. And by now we have already completed 29 days. That means that only one day is left. And final day is all about finale. I'm very excited. Let me know that how excited you are for the final day, the day 30th. For all those people who have been working hard since day one, kudos to you guys. Please put that into the comments. All those people who have been studying it from the day one. And if you have missed, it's your chance now to go and revise all those videos and come tomorrow where I go and talk about all the prominent questions that could be asked from you in the interviews if you are preparing for the Java jobs.